Have you ever wanted to get better in the whoop section at MX bikes, but you keep looking like this every single time you go through them? Well, I'm gonna try to teach you the technique that I use coming into the whoops to try to help you guys out today. What is up, guys? It is Rodak here with Rodak's Revival, and excuse me for my voice. I have had the flu literally since Saturday, so I have been sick as a dog, but I've been trying to shoot this video for, I don't know, 3-4 days now. I do like 15-20 minutes before I start to feel terrible and the fevers and all that stuff, but hopefully being able to get it out for you guys at some time during the week. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Today I'm going to teach you guys how I hit whoops and how it helped me tremendously to get through whoops like 95% of the times without crashing. It's just a little simple technique. It can work on the 250. It can also work on the 450. It works both ways. Yeah, we're going to do 3 different tracks today with 3 different creators. So we're going to jump into one of the SIRL tracks. We're also going to jump into one of the DDC tracks, and we're also going to jump into an aerial track. And for the ARL track, that is going to be last, and I'm going to do what everybody unanimously didn't like about the whoop section at Glendale. That's the track we're going to do to show you that this at least works for me. So without further ado, the first track is going to be SIRL Houston. Let's jump into it. Alrighty guys, so here we are in SIRL Houston, and the whoop section is pretty long, looks daunting, but the whoops are relatively smaller, so figured we would start with this one first with the way that they're gapped out and everything. It doesn't make this whoop section very difficult. So first thing I'm going to show you guys is just going into the whoops normally, coming out of the corner in third, staying in third, and just going into the whoops. And you can see that front tire is dropping and I'm kind of bouncing around everywhere. Then I'm going to hit it in fourth, and you can see that it's a little bit better, but I'm still having to use a lot of body English around the bike to get it to go stay straight. You can see that the front tire is dipping, and it's not really, the back tire isn't really staying grounded to the ground. I don't know if that's weird to say, but it's just not staying grounded. It's not pushing forward. Here is the fourth gear one. You can see we're getting a little bit more drive, but I'm having to lean forward, lean back, lean forward, lean back, just to try to save it and not go over the bars or to lose it. So here's my technique. I'm coming up to the whoops and I'm going to sit, stand, and lean back. Now the back end is dancing around a little bit, but we're going to slow it down. Trust me, we're slowing all these down. So I'm sitting down in third, I stand up coming out of the corner, and then right as I'm about to hit that first one, I sit, stand, and we're getting a way better drive through the whoops. The bike isn't bouncing around. It isn't bouncing up in the air. It is driving forward. I'm going to slow it down one more time, coming out of the corner in third, stand up. Look, I slow it down and then I sit, stand. Right there you can see the rider, you can see the little logo at the bottom, and the bike is dancing in the back, but we're still driving forward. And that was with a not very clean run. I will show you guys some better clean runs like this one right here. So we're just going, and yeah, it just drives through the whoops. And I'm not having to use hardly any body English. Like, I'm coming up to the whoop section, I sit, stand, and I'm just leaning back. Now right here, I'm gonna lean forward just a little bit just to keep that nose from going looping out. But it is so much faster and so much more consistent. I have saved myself so much of a headache from crashing in the whoop sections just by doing this technique. And you could even see it right there coming into the whoops. I'll show you guys one more time. I know I'm trying to show you guys the technique, so I am going to show a lot of videos of slowing it down and speeding it up. But as you can see right here, just full on leaned back, not letting off, letting fourth gear just eat through the whoops, and we're not bouncing or doing anything. You can see we kind of barely hit that first whoop, skip the second whoop with the front tire, hitting the third, the fourth. We're going to go over the next one, and all we're doing is just leaning back and just holding it fourth gear wide open. And these still aren't even perfect runs. I wanted to show you guys that even if you didn't get a perfect like sit, stand into the whoops, you can still get a good drive, and the back end is going to dance around, yes, but also at the same time you're still driving forward. You're not dipping the front end, you're not bouncing up and down like you were when I was going into the whoops just standing up. So I felt like this could really help you guys. This is, like I said, the SIRL track. All these whoop sections are built different, so that's why we are going over to the DDC Cleveland track, because there are 2 whoop sections on this track. First one is pretty long and daunting, but the whoops here are bigger, but they're more rolled out. The second whoop section a little bit shorter, but it's exactly the same as the first one. But there is a different technique to hitting the DDC whoops. So as you can see right there, there was something I did a little bit differently right there, but you saw I flew through the whoops, did not bounce around at all, just straight as an arrow. But watch this, right as I'm coming up, I lean forward to get that front tire over the first one, and then I lean all the way back and do the sit, stand, and we're going fourth gear just wide open through those whoops. It's almost as if they aren't there. Look, I slow it down one more time. I lean forward, sit, stand, and then just lean back, fourth gear, just letting it eat. And boys, if you can get this technique down, a great place to learn it is the DDC tracks. It's really the only place I'm ever really leaning forward, but look at this. It just doesn't even move. It's like you're not even going through a whoop section. It is so fast if you can get this technique down of just, especially on the DDC tracks, lean forward, sit stand at the same time, then lean back and hold it in 4th gear, just literally wide open. And it works, man. Like I did not come up with this method. I'll just say that right now. I don't want to act like I'm taking credit for anything, because how I got better at this game at some points was I was going to Cam's videos or watching Lynn's and doing stuff like that and turning it down to 0.5 or 0.25 speed and just watching what they're doing. So I perfected it in my own way, and it seems to work for me. Now here's the second whoop section, literally the same thing. You're just gonna put that front wheel over, sit stand, and look at that. You just plow right through it. No big deal, nothing going on. Look, we'll show you one more time. Just sit, stand, lean forward, and look at that. Just straight as an arrow. It's almost like you're not even bouncing. You're just going down a straightaway. No whoop section at all, really. You're not losing any speed. If anything, you might even be gaining speed. It's actually crazy how well this technique works on the DDC tracks. But I wanted to prove it to you guys that it's not only setup. So I put on the default setup, still everything default, fuel and everything, and now watch this. We're gonna go through the first whoop section, and it goes right through it, smooth as butter. And look at this. I'm gonna jump over the wall and I'm gonna cut the track over here, and we're gonna immediately go into the next whoop section and just watch. It's not the cleanest run as it would be with a supercross setup on, but look, it still gets you through the whoops, I think, better than if you were just to go through it just standing up and trying to make it through that. Look at that. All on default setup, and it works. And now we're at ARL Glendale, and I am on the default setup again. And look at this. I am not gonna cut this video. I come right out of the pits, and this is me starting up the video and going to set my marker, and I'm not gonna cut anything to show you that the default setup on one of the hardest whoop sections of the season, if not by far the hardest whoop section of the season, with a default setup, it can still work. So look, I set my marker there because I'm setting up to get clips for this video. Come around, hit the quad. It's not the prettiest, but look at this. Go right through the whoop section with the sit stand method as if it was nothing. And I even show you guys on the default setup the inside line going on and off, and we're still hitting the whoop section. Like I said, not the cleanest, but that is a default setup, not a supercross setup. And yeah, you're able to make it through on the default setup. So I think if you can learn this technique, it'll get you through the track so much, because on a track like this where the whoop section is hard, you could be doing that. You just saw what I did. If you sit down and stand up at the wrong time, you will mess it up. But if you learn the timing, a track like this where the whoop section was eating everybody alive, and you can make it through there 19 laps out of 20, doing the consistent method and being able to do what I just showed you, of not actually crashing half the laps and only crashing maybe 2 or 3 laps through the whoops by just getting your timing off just a little bit, you're gonna save yourself a bunch of time. Plus, if you can just fly in there, because I'm not really letting off. I am going to about 3/4 throttle going into the whoop section. I sit, stand, and then pin it. But if you go into 5th gear, even at some points, if you go into 5th gear, you will literally just whip through this thing. 5th gear is a little bit harder. If you want to learn 5th gear, I typically go through in 4th, but you can go through faster with less bounce than this in 5th, but I'm still learning that technique. I'm wheeling out a lot in 5th gear, but as you can see, just coming up to the whoop section, look, I'm even doing the on-off, just sit, stand, and look at that. You just bounce, you just literally drive right through it. You're not really bouncing around anywhere. So try this technique out for yourself. This is what I've been trying to learn over the past month or so, and it has helped. It has dropped my lap time sometimes by a full second compared to what I was used to being able to do. And if you really want to get good at it, you can go beast mode like this and just wheelie your way all through this whoop section. I just had to show that one. You hit that front tire on that second whoop and you just literally wheelie all the way through. I felt pretty cool doing that. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, but yeah, I hope you guys can learn something from this, because like I said, it's just a simple sit, stand, lean back. Now you are gonna have to use some body English every once in a while to lean forward if your front tire is coming up, leaning back, leaning only a quarter of the way back, leaning only halfway all the way back. There are some different things that you have to learn, especially with your different setups or whatever the case may be, but I promise you, practice this sit stand method, learn the technique, come back and watch this video on 0.25 speed, watch these whoop runs all over again to kind of try to learn when the timing should be, and I promise you, you will drop your lap times. And yeah, I really hope that helps all of you guys out. I hope I'm not giving away a big secret here, but it's on everybody's videos. I just decided to talk about it because I haven't seen a video out there about it. So people have been asking me to do, how do you go so fast in the whoops? How do you do all the corners without sliding out? How do you scrub in rhythm sections? So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give out like a tutorial video like once or twice a week on just different things in supercross and motocross. So I hope you, like I said, I hope you guys can learn something from this, and I hope it really does help you out. And let me know down in the comments if it does help you out. And before I go, guys, I just wanted to let you know that I have officially dropped my Patreon. There is 4 different tiers on there, each one of those giving you a little bit more content. So if you want to go check that out, the link will be down in my description, and I would really appreciate it. Also, don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And like I said, I hope this helps somebody out there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.